few months ago, I played Skyrim for the first time in my 30-year life. I played it as purely as possible with no guides, no help, no Googling, nothing. Now, it's time I do the same with Oblivion. In Skyrim, I managed to somehow make Sneak look like the worst skill in the game. I ran around in heavy armor the whole time, and I complained about how bad it was. A lot of you noticed, and you totally didn't make me feel dumb or anything. So, let's do it again in Oblivion. I'm going with a bald high elf, let's get out of this jail, and embark on my second ever open world RPG, completely blind. After reading through all 6,000 comments from the Skyrim video, you all suggested I sheath my weapon when walking around.
Sheath your weapon.
For the love of God,
Fine,
sheath your
but if I get taken out by a bandit because my weapon wasn't at the ready, I'm blaming all of you. I'm gonna go with Mage. Something totally different from the laughable heavy armor stealth build I went in Skyrim. Also, I want one of my skills to be something I didn't have when I was in high school. So we're gonna go with personality, in case there's a prom in Cyrodiil, at least I'll get an invite. I gotta say how amazing the graphics are. I was curious, so I quickly looked up what the original Oblivion looked like, and wow, it looks like I'm not the only one who chose personality as one of their attributes. Unlike in Skyrim, where I put 90% of my focus into the main quest, I'm going to try and do the opposite in Oblivion. I think joining the Mages Guild should help. And since I chose to play Mage, it makes a lot of sense. But instead of some sort of initiation, within 10 seconds, I'm suddenly an associate of the guild.
You are now an associate of the Mages Guild.
And now I have full access to the hall.
The full guild hall is now available for your use.
These guys are way too trustworthy. The guy did mention the Arcane University and how I would need recommendations from each local guild hall. It sounds like each town in Cyrodiil might have a guild location, which honestly is a great incentive to travel around the game. I'm actually looking forward to doing that. I don't recall Skyrim having a quest like this early on, but it's possible I just missed it. A few minutes later, and I'm feeling pretty happy that I chose magic. I feel like you need a little bit of aim to land some of these fireballs. This is way more appealing to me than using a weapon. Wait, I have to use a bed to sleep if I want to increase my level? What happens if I just never go to sleep? So I woke up at level 2. I have no idea what the benefits will be from putting all my points into personality, but I'm locking this in. I will become Cyrodiil's most charismatic man. The rest of my points went into intelligence and willpower for obvious magical reasons. I can't wait to explore today and see if I can find anything interesting. Oh my god. That was a jump scare. Oh, that actually just scared me. Okay, am I the only one who falls for these traps? I'm feeling so dumb right now. I shouldn't show you this clip, but I'm going to anyway. The Mages Guild quest asks you to find a Welkin stone, so you can use it at the mountain later on. I'm literally staring at them and jumping on top of them, and I don't realize it. Instead, I go for the one that is halfway up the wall, unreachable. I am a bit proud that I found a way to collect it. And yes, I did end up figuring out you can just grab the ones in the hallway.
God's blood. You don't know, do you?
In Skyrim, the main quest gave you so many shouts and it seemed so important. Like, it's called the main storyline for a reason, right? I surely can't just not do it. Except, Hertel seems very, very much against heading to Kvatch. His bloodshot eyes and the terror in his voice
I'm getting out of here before it's too late.
had me second guessing. It almost felt like a sign to meet Hertel outside of Kvatch. I stood still as I watched him book it, contemplating what I should do. And then, I made my decision. I don't know where he's going, but we're going together. We ran for a long time, and after I paid my toll to the highwayman, we were suddenly outside of Anvil's city gates. We walked in and headed inside of the Flowing Bowl together and found a table to have some food and wine. This seems much better than dealing with the literal gates of hell. It's odd, but choosing to be here in this random pub, a whole city away from where the main quest was going down, felt oddly comforting. It was strange to abandon the main storyline, but strange in a good way. It felt cozy and much more laid back. I am now in command of what happens next. I can explore and witness the game from a more holistic approach. It will turn out that this is the greatest decision I could have made in my playthrough. I just didn't know it yet. I like Anvil. It's a cool town, and the layout seems a bit more open than a lot of the cities I encountered in Skyrim. Way less claustrophobic. I randomly came across a lady walking around Melona. She told me about an all-woman thieves gang. These women use their looks and womanly charm to lure men outside of Anvil and rob them clean. This quest could only go one of two ways, and I was cool with either outcome. I met Goguen, one of the men who was robbed by this gang. He admitted to getting bamboozled by
the most fetching Nordwoman you've ever seen.
And then he asked for my help so that he could
save what's left of my marriage.
As I was walking out of the house to begin the next step of the quest, I couldn't help but notice the NPC interaction between Goguen and his wife. The way he stood there, silent, probably unsure what to say. The slow walk up, the horrendous choice of words.
Don't just stand around here.
And the way she steps away from him, disgusted. Absolute cinema. Later that night, I'd meet the women Goguen met at the same bar where he started this mess.
I can promise you a night of fun you won't soon forget.
I can see why Goguen caved in. They told me about the meetup place, a farm outside of town, and a time that would be best. Eager as to what would happen next, the clock struck 11.
I see you took us up on our offer. Good. I'm sure we can find something to do while we wait. Can't have you standing there all uncomfortable in all those clothes. Why don't you take everything off and place it there on the table?
Regrettably, the only option I had was to confess that I wasn't here for any snuggling.
Damn, I knew it.
Suddenly, I was 1v3ing beautiful Oblivion NPCs in their farmhouse with fire. Whew, got him. Well, this whole thing was a setup. Goguen and his wife are members of the Anvil City Watch and created this whole fake story about the ring Goguen lost and his wife being upset. They used me, just like Signy did. Whatever. I got 100 gold and I went downstairs and found the Lusty Argonian Maid book. This book is naughty. I'll flash it on screen real quick if you want to read it, but be warned, I'll know if you sick fucks pause during this part of the video in my YouTube analytics. With some justice brought to Anvil, I went back to exploring. I do have to say, I appreciate the caves a little more in Oblivion than I did in Skyrim. So far, the caves I've entered in Oblivion feel more well laid out, but I do have one major issue that completely ruins the experience for me. I have no lockpicks. And even when I do find a lockpick, it breaks immediately. I haven't opened one chest yet. I've got to find a way to get more lockpicks, and quickly. I left the cave unrewarded to head towards the Anvil Mages Guild recommendation quest. They had me go looking for a rogue mage called Kalinalda, who is here, standing behind this tree, just waiting. She has apparently been here for days, straight up murdering anyone who walks by, and then steals their stuff in broad daylight. But how come I can't even grab a tomato off a table inside of a house without the entire city coming to take me to jail?
It's all over, lawbreaker.
I murdered her back, and then I took her stuff. Take that. The people of Cyrodiil must really believe in an eye for an eye because this murder earned me a recommendation to the Arcane Guild in Imperial City. Woo, murder! A bit later on, I began to feel overwhelmed, but in a good way. There were so many paths available to me. I could visit the shrines on the map that the crazy prophet told me to visit. I could train alchemy, but I didn't know how. Also, the Mages Guild questline was underway, and I had a side mission of earning more gold because everything is expensive in Oblivion. It feels like I have 1,000 different things to do, but strangely, the main quest was not one of them. Deciding what to do next was an actual internal struggle. I remember thinking to myself, okay, so this is what an Elder Scrolls game should feel like. The feeling wasn't, what should I do first? It was more, how do I find more time in my life to do everything? I feel like I missed this on my Skyrim playthrough since I focus way too much on the main storyline. I did finally make a decision. Alchemy. I need gold and I need Magicka potions, so it felt like the right thing to do. I spent my entire life savings so far on novice alchemy items, but the potion creating system seemed a bit daunting. I had no idea what I was doing and had instant buyer's regret. I'll figure it out, but it's clear I don't have enough ingredients.
Yoink, yoink, yoink.
Yoink.
I don't feel proud to steal everything this farmer has worked for in this crop this year, but he could take it as a compliment that his vegetables were of such high quality that they could be used in alchemical potion making. Whoa, alchemy is kind of easy. After creating way too many restore fatigue potions, I took them back to the alchemy store in Imperial City. The dopamine hit I got from going from 4 gold to selling everything I made up to 352 gold was euphoric. I totally forgot there's a skill for mercantile too, so I'll probably be able to make more as time goes on. So after feeling like an idiot a few hours ago with the Welkenstone situation, this was a dub that I really needed. Skingrad was my next stop, and I continue to learn that Elder Scrolls games are majestic. It's the first video game I have played that just hits you in the face with its beauty. I know this is the remastered version, so it's way better now than it was originally. Actually, for 2006 graphics, the original Oblivion looked pretty good too. I headed into the Skingrad Mages Guild to begin working on my recommendation from there. While chatting with my fellow mages, I think I figured out what personality does for you in Oblivion. I had to locate Bleak Flats Cave, which was outside of the city, but the NPCs had no idea where it was. I kept asking around, and eventually, one of them literally marked it on my map. But later, there was an even better example of what high personality does in Oblivion. There's a definite cue from certain NPCs when they have some extra information to tell you, but they don't.
It's a matter of trust, and I don't trust you enough yet.
I'm not sure if there is a Riz calculator on earning trust, but whatever it was, my personality skill plus this charm spell added up to trust.
Saurus keeps it locked in a chest down in the basement.
I really like this system. The problem is, I still don't have enough lockpicks to open anything. I've had to skip a couple quests and miss out on some cave loot because of this. Where the hell do you find more lockpicks? Now, besides the obvious lockpicking issue, I fell into a good rhythm at this point of my playthrough. The ongoing Mages questline, the Knights of the Nine questline, alchemy training, and small quests here and there kept me pretty busy. I felt like I was being pulled in different directions, but allowed myself to simply go with the flow, letting whatever happened in the moment direct me to my next adventure. And boy, the next adventure was great. It will go down as one of my favorite video game quests of all time. A side quest of the Mages Guild, Kud-A's friend is stuck inside of his own dreams. Apparently he has this amulet that allows him to lucid dream or have full awareness while dreaming. I guess he uses the amulet to train inside of his dreams, but he somehow got stuck, and if he is killed in his dreams, he'll die in real life. Inception came out after the original Oblivion, so it's possible Christopher Nolan got the idea from this quest. The game did a great job simulating the feeling of being in a dream. The muffled voice,
I've lost my way.
the dark and desaturated colors of Henantir's confused, dreamy state all added to the effect. The only way out was to complete 4 different tasks. They'd all test a different attribute that Henantir lost, so I started with the test of courage. For a video game, this one was easy, but if I was personally in this dream, I don't think I'd ever be able to complete it. A single chest held a potion of the sea, a way to breathe underwater. I hate the ocean, and I hate dark underwater caves even more. Again, I'll say it, I'm just really glad this is a video game. I think I was actually a bit scared because I totally forgot to drink the potion until I was on the brink of death. If this game was in VR, I'd be cooked. Finally, I found the exit, grabbed the element of courage, and finished one of the 4 tests. I don't blame Henantir for not being able to do this one. Next up was the test of resolve. It should have been called the test of observance because I'm blind. You're supposed to kill 2 Minotaurs, but I instead spent 10 minutes running from them, desperately searching for a way to defeat them. I figured something was bugged, so I loaded up an autosave, and I looked to my left. It's a good thing that making YouTube videos doesn't require an IQ test. Once I had the staff, I cleared this challenge in about 10 seconds. The next test was that of patience. This was my favorite, yet it was the most aggravating. A mysterious scroll was the only item that was given, and on it, strange symbols. I stared at it for a bit, and no kidding you, I figured it out. I have the biggest brain ever. I finally feel smart for once. At first, it looks like a ton of random symbols, but if you keep looking, you'll notice there's some that look the same, which clearly outline a path through each of the 3 mazes. Okay, let's start from the upper left. I'll move down 3, then move right 1, and 1 more forward. Done. Huh? So maybe I have to flip it upside down. That means I'd start on the upper right, move 3 down, 1 left, and then 1 more forward. Okay. What the f? I wish for just one time where I could be smart. Even when I safely stepped on the correct first tile, it made no sense to me. So you know what counters patience? Speed. Lots of confidence and speed. All right, the first one's cleared, but I don't think that method is gonna work on the second one. So I figured I would try to solve it by trial and error, ignoring the letter completely. All right, this isn't gonna work either. I sat there, staring at the clue, patiently. What is it that I'm missing? Wait, are you serious? It starts from the bottom of the puzzle, not the top. I sped through the final 2 puzzles in no time. That wasn't a test of patience, that was a test of brain cells. The next and final task to complete was the test of perception. This one was pretty straightforward. You had to use your 5 senses to clear it. Your eyes would read the rhythm of the axes, your ears would pick up on random projectiles, your nose would smell lasagna. Wait, no, that's just my wife cooking dinner. This task was easy. You can mostly just walk through it, dodging a few obstacles here and there, and with all 4 elements in hand, I gave them back to Henantier, and we were free to leave the dream. We woke up from the nightmare together, had a private conversation, and he awarded me the Nightmare Armor, causing enemies to flee from me during the night. I wish that was the reward. Instead, he gave me 1 Cure Paralysis Tome. Worthless. I'm learning that sometimes the quest is the reward. And some quests are great and have great rewards. For example, somewhere outside of Imperial City, I found, then followed, a ghost for about 10 minutes until we reached a random spot in the map. He pointed his finger across the river towards a boat. I'm guessing he died there. I entered the boat and navigated down to where his skeleton was stuck to the pole, and once I freed him, he told me about a chest he hid before he died. I just have to follow this map to find it. My hundreds of hours spent watching Dora the Explorer when I was a kid paid off. Whoa, my dude was loaded. This is definitely a huge boost to my personal economy. I needed this. I chose to not look up anything about Oblivion. No tips, no guides, not even where to find some goddamn lockpicks. That does mean that I have to learn everything on my own, but I do have Google. The Google of Elder Scrolls games are the NPCs. They will tell you everything you need to know. Sometimes it's in riddles, sometimes it's straight up go here and you'll find it, but almost everything I've done so far is because an NPC suggested it. I am fully invested in the world. I got this totally wrong in Skyrim. I rarely communicated with anyone outside of the forced interactions during the main quest. I didn't know that any one random conversation could influence the next couple hours of your gameplay. Now, whenever I'm in cities, if I come across an NPC I don't recognize, I immediately sprint over to them just to see what quest or info they have for me. And of course, with the skill points I've been investing in a personality, I'm having a blast talking to everyone. The immersion was at an all-time high, and so was my weight. I've been picking up way too many items, but they're all so valuable. Stubborn and poor, I spent 45 minutes crawling back to town, hopelessly searching for a place to sell some goods. Come on, we're so close. Surely this place will take my goods.
I interest you in some
okay.
wares.
I'm rich. Now feeling like a feather, I headed back to a place I uncovered earlier, Meridia's statue. I loved Meridia's quest in Skyrim, but when I read the comments, I was shocked to hear that most of you hated Meridia's quest. That's the quest that convinced me that Skyrim was a great game. Yeah, my eardrums are still recovering, but I thought it was fun. There is no way I would miss Oblivion's version of Meridia's quest, and it turns out I was right. Meridia's quest always comes through. The reward was the Ring of Khajiit, the coolest ring I have ever set my eyes on, and it's worth 4,000 gold. I don't know what Elder Scrolls games I'm playing next, but I am 100% doing Meridia's quest.
Oh hey, sweet lady of Wayrest, oh hey, sweet lady of mine. Oh, I'll see you again, yes, I'll see you again, sweet lady of Wayrest, so fine.
I've been looking for you. I don't have time to talk.
The next few days of play flew by. I spent 2,000 gold for a lovely lakefront house in Imperial City. I headed to Leyawiin to continue working for the Mage Guild recommendations. I explored some caves with beautiful, hellish sculptures deep within, and I took out an entire camp of vagabonds because I was too impatient to wait for my companion to show up. And shortly after that, I was approached by a mysterious man named Lucian Lachance. He suggested I go and murder someone in order to join the Dark Brotherhood, but I didn't feel quite ready for that yet. Maybe he should have asked these guys though. They seem like they're ready to murder some people.
Why won't you die?
Why won't you die?
And after all of that adventuring, I was finally a master of destruction. I think this is the first skill I got to level 100 in Skyrim or Oblivion. To commemorate my destruction skill, I traveled to the Imperial Market to find something nice for myself. As a mage, I figured I would check out the staff shop. I saw the most beautiful, powerful, and menacing looking staff that I have ever laid my eyes on. And now it's mine. Dare I say, I'm enjoying Oblivion more than Skyrim. I think most of you have probably done this Priory of the Nine quest, so you know you have to take down all of the Knights of the Nine. None were particularly difficult, and after they got humbled, they each gave me information on where the remaining relics were for the eventual fight against Umaril. I gotta be honest, I don't really like this part. I told myself I was gonna do the whole quest line, but I'll complete quests in whatever order I choose, and no one can tell me otherwise. I'm glad I made that call because the next quest I ran into was my now new favorite quest I've done so far. There's a famous painter in Cyrodiil, a dude named Ryth. He's kind of like us gamers. He sits in his room all day and only comes out to eat and shit. Except he's actually doing something useful by earning tons of money providing the people with beautiful artwork. His wife, though, is concerned because Ryth has been missing for a couple of days and she's certain he never left his painting room. That's odd. I searched the room and I quickly noticed he's inside of the painting. You can hop into the painting like the creepy Blue's Clues guy, or you could pretend you're Mario trying to save Princess Peach. Whoa, this whole world looks like a painting. I don't know what this looked like in the original, but this is one of the coolest video game instances I have ever seen. I found Ryth and he told me he came into the painting to run away from a thief, but the thief followed him. His brush, called the Brush of True Paint, lets the artist go inside of pictures and paint from within. It's why Ryth's artwork looks better than everyone else's. It has also been passed down for generations, like a family heirloom. Sadly, the actual interactive part of the quest is a little boring and a little too quick. You defeat a few trolls, locate the dead thief, recover the brush, and then you return back to Ryth's painting room. I wanted to stay in this realm for a lot longer. I'd be more than content if there were 6 to 7 quests in here, requiring multiple hours to finish. It's a beautiful quest, extremely unique, but I just wish so badly that it lasted longer. The reward was okay. An apron that gives 8 points to both agility and intelligence. Not two skills that work great together, but it does look cool, especially with no pants. This is why I'm starting to fall in love with open world RPGs. You never know what you are going to come across. And all of that is in your control at your leisure. So next up on my never-ending quest line was the Cheydinhal Mages Guild recommendation. It's the last one needed before I can access the Arcane University. The last step to earning the recommendation was to search the head mage's quarters for the letter. Of course, it was locked inside of some drawers. Have I complained about the lack of lockpicks in this game yet? No, not yet? Well, where the hell do you find lockpicks? I refused to look up the answer on Google, and so I went looking for other answers. A while back, during a cave visit, I came across a spell called Fenric's Welcome. I saw it back then and didn't think too much about it because I thought you could find some lockpicks in this damn game, but it looks like it can unlock hard locks. Is this true? My alteration level is too low to use it, so I am stopping everything to get my skill level up. I don't care if this takes 5 hours. Please work. Please work. Please work. Yes! Oh, I really hope this works anywhere in the game because I am so over the lockpick situation. With that, I have all of my recommendations. At this point of my playthrough, I'm locked in to everything but the main quest, and I am so happy that I decided to run off with Hertel outside of Kvatch.
Arcane University awaits you now. Speak with one.
I am completely obsessed with Oblivion at this point. I'm starting to see the allure of open world RPGs. I can see why the original won so many awards. However, soon I will do something that I probably should not have done. But before that happens, I had a few loose ends to tie up. Firstly, with my newly acquired alteration skill, I could finally go back to do some quests I couldn't because I had no lockpicks. You have no idea how liberating this is. I am so glad I remembered that spell existed. I completed the side quest and then I reached level 100 in alchemy. For anyone looking to do the same, I suggest robbing the nice people outside of Skingrad. They have grapes for days. At level 100 alchemy, you can make potions from just one ingredient. This is about to become my money-making method. Yeah, it's kind of broken actually. I'm instantly rich. All right, I'm now ready to enter the Arcane University. I expected the questline to get better now that I'm done with the recommendation part, but they remained mid. There were some funny parts though, like when I was to hunt down some necromancers with some battle mages. I was supposed to join a huge army of battle mages at some ruin, but when I got there, only one of them remained. He was panicky and in shock, but still, he wanted to help. How admirable. Now that, everyone, is what a true battle mage is all... Bro. What are you doing? Or when I reached the end of those ruins and found Mucianus, who was turned into a worm thrall. Actually, this part was kind of sad. I killed him so that his soul could rest. Oh, I did like the part where the Bruma Mages Guild was destroyed by Manny Marco. The game did a pretty good job of hyping this guy up, actually. They called him...
I saw the King of Worms.
That's some Stephen King type shit. All of the Arcane University quests increases your rank within the guild. I'm a master wizard with only one rank to go, which is owned by the Mages Guild owner Trayvern, who just killed himself. Did I miss something? I must have missed something. But I guess I'm now the owner of the Arcane Guild University. Getting to Manny Marco and defeating him was the final task. The cave was fun, lots of good loot, and if I wasn't already rich, I probably would have taken more. Manny Marco himself was much less menacing than I had expected him to be. This is the King of Worms? I was given an option to either never help him or serve him if he spares me. I wanted to see what would happen if I suddenly bitched out, and I asked to join his necromancer ranks. He declined.
I already have more servants than I need.
I do wish that Oblivion and Skyrim had more unique combat systems for the bosses of the game. I know combat isn't really the highlight of Elder Scrolls, but still, have them cast more unique spells or, I don't know, have more health or something. With Manny Marco laying dead on the ground, that meant I completed the Mages Guild questline. Do you remember what the title of this part of the video was called? Here's where that came into play. As some of you know, the reward for finishing the Mages Guild questline is the title of Archmage of the Arcane University. This comes with a few pretty strong perks, including an altar of spell making. Here, you can create basically any spell and customize it in a way that can be, well, overpowered. When I saw this altar, the first thing I knew I wanted to do was make a spell that increases speed. And I gotta tell you, nothing beats the feeling of casting a single spell, doubling your speed in an instant. But this is a slippery slope. The first thing I did with my crazy speed was go and pick some alchemy ingredients. Can you imagine someone in your backyard running 30 miles per hour picking up all your flowers? In about 30 minutes, I was encumbered and I went to sell the potions. I am so rich. This is crazy. With my newly acquired speed, I felt now was a good time to run across Cyrodiil and collect the remaining relics to complete the Knights of the Nine quest. I don't know if you guys remember, there's a guy named Kellen who has a curse, which basically makes him feel like he's dying and he has no energy. In order to save him, you must transfer his curse over to yourself. It's a permanent -5 points to fatigue. That's nothing. And seeing Kellen run around the room cheering about how good he felt was easily worth it.
Look at me! I can't believe it. I feel normal. Thank you so much.
My favorite part of the Knights of the Nine quest, though, was the puzzle to get the Crusader's shield. I wish Oblivion and Skyrim had more puzzles like this in some of their quests. With all relics in hand, the fight against Umaril was next. It was again another boss fight I wish had more complexity to it. But I did appreciate the fact that once you kill him for the first time, you've got to use a spell and defeat him in his spirit form, ultimately destroying him for good. I returned to the Knights in the Priory, they congratulated me, and the Knights of the Nine quest was over. I am literally starting to run through Oblivion, and I decided to begin the Dark Brotherhood questline. In my Skyrim video, a lot of you commented about how I missed out on it, so I'm gonna do it here in Oblivion instead. This was a little bit of a weird time to do this quest. The Knights of the Nine that I just finished is all about being good, and now I'm going straight into the Dark Brotherhood, and right out of the gate, they ordered me to murder Rufio, and when the time came to do so, I felt like I couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to kill him. Look how scared he looks. I got over it. The Brotherhood Sanctuary is a weird place. You've got some of Cyrodiil's most prolific murderers all hanging out below an abandoned house, waiting for their next kill orders. Yet, strangely, it feels like a nice place. Everyone seems to get along, besides this guy, and it was oddly charming to see how happy Gogren was as he mentions the orders he had to kill a little girl at her birthday party.
You should have seen the look on her face. Anyway, she won't be seeing age 6.
Now, before I get too far into the Dark Brotherhood quests, I remembered my altar of spellmaking. I saw that you could make a spell that boosts Chameleon on self. Guys, this is where my playthrough took a wild turn. I already have a ring that increases my Chameleon by 35 points. What would over 100 points in Chameleon do? I thought it might be good to test in the Dark Brotherhood quest because I'm gonna be sneaking around and slitting people's throats. And suddenly I realized I chose Mage so I would not do a sneak build like I did in Skyrim, and now look at me. Do all roads lead to sneak? This surely doesn't count as a sneak build, does it? Whoa, am I really not detectable right now? I'm about to become the world's most elusive murderer. This part of the quest was really fun, by the way. I have orders to murder this guy, but not in an obvious way. I could earn bonus pay if I could find a way to take him out while making it seem like an accident. Conveniently, hanging above him is a mountain minotaur head. I just had to sneak up into the crawl space area on the second floor, take a few steps, and loosen some bolts, keeping the head mounted. And then... And with the help of my Chameleon spell, I slipped out without being noticed. I can't begin to tell you how much this spell changed the whole game for me. The following quest had me running through the sewers, and the combination of Chameleon plus being able to open any lock on demand was just insane. I can legitimately run around any NPC with whatever armor I want, get as close as possible, and they'll still think it's just the wind. This almost feels like a bug. Just as much of a bug as Vicente Valtieri's head switching between bald and a full head of hair every time I see him. I think I've gone too far. The rest of the Dark Brotherhood quest flew by. I staged the death of Motieri, made friends with Phalion.
You have skooma? Oh, my friend. Yeah, you're my friend now.
Murdered 5 guests in the Whodunit quest. And can I just say, by the way, this was an amazing quest. The amount of detail was staggering. Every guest had an opinion about the other, and I'm pretty sure you could social engineer 4 different ways to killing everybody and still earn the bonus. But the easiest was to wait until they would leave the main area of the home, and since I'm now unable to be seen, killing them was easy. But it was around this part of the Dark Brotherhood quest where I would have to make the single most difficult decision so far in my playthrough. Lucien Lachance commanded that I take out everyone in the sanctuary. Apparently, one of them is a spy, and the only way to solve that issue was to kill everyone. I think I'm still emotionally scarred over this quest. I was pretty close to not completing it. I really like the people here, and I think even Mirage Dar was starting to like me.
It's good to see you again. No, really.
Ochiva felt like my Dark Brotherhood mother, so killing her was the toughest of all. As tough as it was to get through this part, I think it gave me a higher appreciation of RPG games. The story building and character development makes the game feel alive. In a weird way, it feels like I've grown a bond between the NPCs as the stories unfold. Maybe I'm overthinking it all, but I think it's cool that RPGs can give you that perspective. I took them all out. And before I could recover from what I just did, the next quest had me questioning my morals even further when I was ordered to end the bloodline of the entire Draconis family.
Those children are so dear to me, and I'd really like you to get them something special.
Why did Bethesda have to pull at my heartstrings like this?
So here's the list of all my precious little ones, though I dare say they're not so little anymore. They grow up so fast, I swear.
She didn't know the truth. The quest update was just as brutal, stating I'd use the list to instead find and slay each family member. Bro, I think I closed my eyes. There was no going back after the damage was done. I defiled my character. There was no chance I would join the Knights of the Nine in the afterlife now. The rest of the Dark Brotherhood quests were insane. Seeing Lucien Lachance hanging upside down from the ceiling by the ankles, tortured and skinned to the bone, sent shivers down my spine. Like, damn. I finished the quest, but it was around this time I started to feel like Chameleon was sort of taken away from the game. I could go through the entire rest of the game without having to battle anyone. I could skip through areas at record time. I could steal anything I wanted. It was on easy mode. Completing the Mages Guild questline was the single greatest and possibly single worst thing I could have done. But I couldn't stop. I began the Thieves Guild shortly after, and it was clear the gameplay was going to be about the same for this one too. I'm too used to being this fast, and knowing that a single press of a button can make me completely invisible, it was just too hard to pass up on. I knew I was taking away from my own fun. I got through 80% of the Thieves Guild questline in about a day, but before I finished it, I tried my hardest to create a new experience for myself. So I tried Conjuration. I quickly got it to level 100 to summon some creatures to fight for me, and I had an idea to use a strong touch spell on them, which would increase their skills. I'd hope that would make them even stronger, but it ended up taking too much magicka to be viable. I even tried to use melee weapons, but I'd have a spell that would increase my strength and blunt skills, and of course, that failed too. I was doing basically no damage. As some sort of punishment for abusing these powers, I reached the end of my playthrough in dramatic fashion. It's as if the game knew I was playing it wrong. I'm currently on the final quest for the Thieves Guild. I'm about to steal an Elder Scroll from the Blind Monks, and I will forever be on this quest because I have bugged it out. Being invisible 24/7 finally backfired. During the ultimate heist, I knew to keep quiet when I reached the Elder Scrolls library, but I had no idea what to do in here. All it said was to make sure to be quiet. I waited for a long time, but nothing happened. I thought maybe there's a chance that being invisible was making it so the quest wouldn't trigger, and stupidly, I attacked a monk, and a quest update popped up. It made it seem like I did something right, so I jumped down the chimney chute into the sewers, ran all the way back through that, and went to the Grey Fox, who was pissed I returned without the Elder Scroll, but it was too late. I had too many autosaves, and yep, I forgot to make a quick save. I tried to wait in game for multiple days to see if the monks would spawn back, but ultimately, I will never know how the Thieves Guild quest ends. And with that sad reality, I knew I couldn't continue to play Oblivion like this. My playthrough was over. I know there is still a few more quest lines, and I didn't even do the main quest, but I'm gonna do that on a different character. But damn, did I have fun. It is crazy to think that I basically never touched the main storyline, and I still felt like the game was amazing. It took 2 open world RPGs to figure it out, but the best way to enjoy these games is to travel around and let the game unfold. I am so happy I ditched Kvatch early on. I feel my Oblivion playthrough was so much more enjoyable than my Skyrim playthrough. In fact, I think it's pretty easy to say Oblivion is the better game. At least for me. Open world RPGs are quickly becoming my favorite games to play. I just can't believe it took me so long to try them. I know Oblivion isn't perfect, but it and Skyrim are easily on the top of my favorite games list. I think I'm off to a great start in 2025, being able to cross off these 2 from the list of games I still need to try. And you know what? Now that I kind of understand how these games should be played, I can see now how people get thousands of hours in this game and why they always come back. And there's mods on top of that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, tell me what I should play next.